Are there differences between the Atkins and keto diets? Both are low-carb plans which restrict carb intake, but the Atkins diet is less restorative and more comfortable to follow. Medical advice should be consulted before undertaking either. Both are prominent dieting routines that dramatically decrease carbohydrate consumption, yet precisely how they compare regarding their difficulty to follow, how safe the plan is, and its lasting results. Now we are not merely talking about cutting back on carbohydrates that are bad for you like cookies, donuts, and cupcakes, but also foods such as fruits and some veggies. Restricting carbohydrates as much as these diet plans need to do will put one's body into ketosis, which implies the body relies on fat for fuel once its glucose stores are gone. The role ketosis plays in each of these diets is very different, which might impact how long a person can remain on one of these. The Atkins diet plan was presented in 1972 by a cardiologist called Robert Atkins, and also, it's been preferred on and off considering. The first variation of the diet regimen, now called Atkins 20, has 4 stages. The first phase of the diet kicks it off with, without a doubt, one of the most restrictive rules. Healthy protein and also fat are reasonable game on Atkins, but carbs are purely limited to between 20 and 25 grams g of low carbs. Total carbohydrates then subtract fiber during the initial phase. These carbs come from foods like veggies, seeds, nuts, and even cheese. A person will stay in this stage up until they are 15 pounds lb, far from their goal weight. During the second phase, the allotment of carbs is increased to 25 to 50 grams, meaning foods like cottage, yogurt, blueberries, and cheese can be added. The person will remain at this stage until they are about 10 pounds away from their desired goal. During the last stage, a person will increase to between 50 and 80 grams of net carbs, trying to find a perfect balance. But the question remains, how many carbs can a person eat before their weight loss stalls out? Realistically, it can be done slowly with a little trial and error to determine what amount of carbs can be consumed again without causing weight gain still. Once a person figures out and maintains their desired weight for a month, it will be time to move on to phase 2 called lifetime maintenance. At this stage of the diet, the person should focus on remaining on task with the right habits established during phase 3. A person is allowed up to 100 grams per day of carbs, as long as their weight does not edge back on. Atkins diet has several moving parts within its 4 phases. On the other hand, the keto diet endorses a one-way system for eating for the entire time a person is on a diet. A person will cut their carb intake down by about 5% of their daily amount. Now, 75% of their remaining calories will come from fat and 20% from protein. Consequently, just ingesting food this way for even a few days, the person will go into ketosis, which can be a monitor in various ways if one chooses. The keto diet was developed as a way to treat children with epilepsy in the 1920s. Since then, research has connected the diet to weight loss, and because of this a lot of people who do not have a history of seizures have gotten on the bandwagon. In a study published in November 2017 in Diabetes and Metabolic Syndrome, Clinical Research and Reviews reported that those that followed the keto diet for 10 weeks showed substantial weight changes, body fat percentage, HbA1c levels, and body mass index, BMI. Still, the keto diet should only be recommended for children with epilepsy because entirely cutting out certain food groups and considerably change the way one eats does poses some amount of risk. In attendance, there is a growing body of evidence suggests that the keto diet could benefit adults with epilepsy as well. But additional research is warranted in this particular population. If a person does have epilepsy, they should check with their doctor before making any changes to their diet. However, the collection of ketones can cause many side effects, like headaches, nausea, and mental fatigue. This can lead to deficiencies in crucial vitamins and minerals along with a rise in their risk for kidney stones and possibly heart disease, but this depends on the kinds of fats people choose. The goal is to lose weight, but will a person lose weight on a low-carb diet such as these? The answer is most likely, but only if the person follows them as outlined. A person will mostly lose water weight at the start of a diet because carbs hold water. A person will gain a lot of the weight back once they start regularly eating again. A study that was published in the November 2014 issue of the Circulation, Cardiovascular Quality and Outcomes reported that after 1 year on the Atkins diet, subjects lost a modest weight amount of 4.6 to 10.3 pounds. Although some results showed some weight gain occurred by the end of year 2. A person does not have to count calories while on either the Atkins or keto diets. However, they are required to keep track of the carbs intaken. For example, while on keto, a person needs to make sure they are taking in the right calorie percentages since they are coming from protein and fat. The question is often asked which one of the diets are more comfortable to follow? That depends on the person and their eating behaviors before they started dieting. Neither diet is effortless since low-carb diets can sometimes lead to nutritional insufficiencies, dizziness, and physical and mental fatigue. But the U.S. News & World Report rates the Atkins diet as easy to follow with a score of 1.8 on a 5 scale and the keto's diet at 1.4. One of the key differences between the Atkins and keto diets is the amount of protein a person can take in. There are no limits on Atkins, but keto does limit the amount of protein to around 20% of the daily calories. Another vast difference between the two is the keto centers on a person being in ketosis during the entire time on the diet. Ketosis only plays a role during stage 1 and possibly stage 2 of the Atkins diet. While on Atkins, a person ultimately introduces carbs again, but on the keto diet, carbs are limited continuously. This means Atkins can be more manageable in the extended run for the reason that it is not quite as limiting and does not require a person to make sure their body remains in ketosis. Additionally, while on Atkins, a person can finally add back foods like oatmeal, quinoa, and fruits. Neither of the two diets is suggested for a person who has heart disease, diabetes, or kidney disease. However, without any chronic conditions, these diets can be safe in the short term. Further, it was reported how a low-carb diet could be more effective than a low-fat diet at dropping the levels of triglycerides and A1C while raising the standards of good HDL cholesterol. Low-carb diets are a little dubious regarding their long-term safety. This is because dropout rates for low-carb diet studies are high. If considering either of these low-carb diets a try, it is recommended consulting with a dietitian or even a doctor first.